That's why people can get a little bit into drugs. Now, I don't really need drugs to live in my mind. People would look at my artwork. That's just natural, but I believe that a lot of people that use drugs and things like that are trying to open their mind. And, you know, they're trying to do it a quick way, but I do believe it's bred into us, and I cannot discount that, Clay.
Even the Bible talks about the plant of renown, and the Bible says they gave us every plant on earth to use. So, and to me, the police state, if somebody can come up and goes, what's that you're smoking there? What's that you're smoking, boy? You're going to jail, you're going to prison. That's your police state, folks. But let's talk more about this Palladians. And you know, the movement right now, we're a lot closer to marijuana and hemp and victimless crimes being abolished, and hemp made legal and allowed to be regrown, $1 billion crop that they can grow in China, but we can't grow it here. Something wrong with that, folks. And again, they're using the media to try to make you think that smoking a joint somehow bad and you should be put in prison for it, but you can rip off $2 trillion from the Pentagon and never have to worry about going to jail, as long as you gave the money to Israel.
If I may, Clay, I would like to say one thing that bothers me so much is U.S. maritime law and corporate fictitious entities, okay? And I call it corporate fascism, because what they're doing isn't pure capitalism. Everybody's bought off. You know, they're all paid off. Here, I mean, give you some money, rule in my favor. How about the whole healthcare bill? I mean, how many corporations have been given carte blanche to not have to cover insurance, while it's going to be on the back of the small businesses? I mean, it's out of control. It's out of control. You know, this whole the whole deregulation and these whole financial instruments, and it's out of control. And even the fractional reserve system, money system, is ridiculous. It's a joke. You know, I don't even know how we can buy the illusion of an economy when you stand back and look, you know, and you go, wow, everybody's buying and selling and trading with this paper that's worthless. Might as well use monopoly money. And it's just out of control.
Yeah, our founding fathers warned us, if you ever allow a private bank to issue your money, the banks and the corporations that spring up around them will leave your children homeless in the land that we conquer. Isn't that what's happening right now? I mean, we gave a couple of trillion to the banks. If Bush had given that to the people, every one of them could have used that money to pay off every mortgage in the country, and all Americans would own their own homes, and the banks would be paid off, and we wouldn't have to use them anymore.
Well, of course the people, look, this New World Order group, and I pull them into that soul over family of I call them basically the Satan, Lucifer, Illuminati, Mason, Theosophy, Society, Zohar, it's Kabbalah, it's magic, ritual, sacrifice, cannibalism, possession, invoking, spirit group. I do magic on people, and it's right in front of them, they don't even know it. You know, another form of possession, speaking of this, is when somebody tries to enforce their reality on you. That's actually a form of possession, if you think about it.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Let's see, I had a guest who always, this is lovely, this is one chat room, they find something wrong with anything me or any of my guests say. This guest number 2 is a real dickhead. He says, this female does not know what she's talking about, the divinity of Christ. She needs to read the book of Revelations, where his divinity is proclaimed over and over again. All through the Bible, it proclaims Jesus' divinity. She's been sent a delusion and believed a lie, blasphemer. Guess what? Stick it up your ass, guest number 2.
Well, you know, and this is the thing with the Christians, okay? And this is a perfect example of me talking about Oversoul groups. This particular Oversoul group, the Christians, have identified with their source as being this entity down this line of thought form, you know, and that anything that is not understood, that, see, they're brainwashed. They're in a paradigm where they have to go to church, and they don't know they're in a 501c3, and they don't know that, you know, they're being brainwashed, but this guy on a pulpit standing there telling them what to believe, and they're so programmed that anybody that has any kind of critical thinking is going to hell, and they're sent to delusion by Satan, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
that's by the way, that's how I lost my family. My sister, anyway, who's a few years older than me. She introduced me to a preacher, and the first thing he came up with, "Have you been saved?" I said, "I don't know. What does that entail?"
right.
He said, "Well, you have accepted Jesus as your Lord and Master." And I said, "No, I haven't accepted anybody as my Lord and Master." And but let me ask you a question, preacher. There's an Aborigine in the middle of Australia that's never seen a white man, never read a Bible, never heard of Jesus. He takes a mate, has 2 children, teaches them how to live, teaches them how to find food, teaches them where to find water. He dies. Does he go to hell? And his answer was yes. So I took him by the tie, and I led him to the door. I opened the door and threw him out of my sister's house. My sister's never talked to me since then.
I have a little funny here. Okay, the Christians run around, the Western Christians run around saying, well, excuse me, I've got this cold, let me mute this. The Christians run around saying that, well, Christ can't come back until the whole Word of God has been spread in every language. Do you know there's 3,000 dialects of Polynesian? And they can't even figure it out. It's going to be a long time, folks. Plus the fact in Matthew 24, you know, Christ says, this generation shall not pass away before the kingdom of God is at hand. He was an Essean, an apocalyptic, and he was killed by Rome because he called himself king. And you can't do that when you're a Jew being led by the Romans. They'll kill you. Period. And there's and Flavius Josephus, he was the runaround Jew, you know, with the Reader's Digest of everything happening with the Jews. And if a guy came out with a few loaves of bread and 3 fish and fed 5,000 people, that would have made history. Period. One thing that does grab me, and this is something that I do have a belief in, is the Shroud of Turin. Because when they took the fibers off the edge of the shroud, they found out when they'd sewn it, it was through a fire. You can only get those threads. It's really not, you know, how old they say it is. But what's interesting is they just had a new evidence where they took the photos with the new technology that we have. And whatever print in the blood or whatever is actually a digital print. And if you convert that into Photoshop, it comes out with these guys. This guy with the injuries as described by Christ. But we can't actually say what he said. You know, because it's not true.
Now, isn't it? I say that at the Council of Nicaea, 250, 300 AD, somewhere along there, they consolidated the gods. They promoted Jesus to God to keep men like me from aspiring to be the kind of man he was. What would you say about that? I mean, Jesus told us, you can do what I have done and more, which means that we could walk on water, we could heal the sick, and we damn sure should kick the money changers out of the temple.
Yeah, if in fact he said that. Okay, I mean, everything is a secondhand story, you know, that in this book, but there are good lessons in it, you know, that I will not deny, right? But I kind of feel that, you know, again, when Rome created the Vatican, right, they found a mechanism to control. And I believe that anything, I believe that I have this feeling based on my research that the Vatican is hanging on to keys and links that obviously they don't want the rest of humanity to have. And I believe they've got a lot of papers of Alexandria in there. I believe they're sitting on an awful lot they don't want out. Because if certain things got out, it would make everything unravel. This thing, it was real interesting. Why did the federal government just come out and make an official statement that they've never had contact with extraterrestrials? Why are they doing that right now?
They don't want us to know that for 10,000 years, mankind has had the ability to fly to the moon for lunch without using any gasoline.
They're just, you know, it's kind of a little redundant to be having them say something as crazy as that right now. It's like all of a sudden they finally got to the notepad of, oh, we're not contacting aliens. That must mean they're in negotiations. Now, there's some chap that I haven't really listened to too much, but he claims that channeled from the Andromeda Council. His name's Tolik. And, you know, and I can't say, I don't have an official paper to say that I channel from the Palladian and I'm a representative of them, so I can only give him the same courtesy of his information. But some of the earthquakes that have happened, especially in the Gulf of Aden, there is apparently a portal, a reptilian portal. And as soon as the Andromedas are working with another race, they knock that out, the Palestinians will automatically into UNESCO. And apparently there's another base over in China. So I'm getting ready to see what's going on with that. There's wars going on in all these different levels, and it's all affected if somebody could wrap their mind around quantum physics and also time. Our rationality for time is the Earth spins 24 hours a day. We go around the sun 365 days approximately. Our rationalization of linear time is our clocks. However, time is past, present, and future are one time. It all exists in the same timeline. It's hard concept to wrap your head around.
Talk to me about the Palladians. Now, I was just spent a few days with Wild Colleen, who talks a lot about the Palladians, and she was not very impressed with me. I wasn't very impressed with her. But talk to me about the Palladians. What is that? Where is the contact? Now, I know, you know, from my father-in-law was the Marine Colonel, Colonel Lloyd Conrad, who escorted, safe to use his name now because he's dead, but he escorted the alien, surviving alien from Roswell to Truman's office. Said Truman locked him up because he thought he was a threat. And who was the Gray? What race is that? What kind of race is the Palladians? Are they human? And you know, I've had a lot of information on this, but nobody's ever contacted me. I haven't had any, other than watching Lynn Horowitz morph into a lizard. You know, I haven't had any contact with any UFOs, anybody that I thought qualified, you know, for being from outer space. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people that say they're in the CIA, but what is this contact? And what is this whole Pleiadian thing? Who are they? What are they? And how did you contact them?
Well, my dad worked for NASA through a company called Control Data up in Wyoming, and I had an experience when I was a child, and it was really quite funny because my father was watching War of the Worlds, and I came down and I told him, Daddy, I went in the ship and all this kind of thing. And
okay,
at the same time I was going to school. I mean,
you just broke up. You went to the.
How I knew.
You broke up, darling. Just repeat that.
Okay.
You told your daddy you went to the ship. What was the ship? How did you get there? What was this all in? Was this all on the astral plane? That's how you can travel the planets, on the astral plane.
I'm guessing because I've been there a lot of times, and I'm just actually now figuring out that I have constant channeling going on with me all the time, and I didn't know it, which is why I think I'm erasing thoughts. And now I'm able to see how to clear some of that. But I didn't know that it was Pleiadian. I was in Santa Monica, I was in Los Angeles, and I was doing business, and I didn't believe in these crystal sleeps. I didn't believe in anything, except because I've researched everything. And I was just sitting there, and this guy, I felt like a scan. I can't even describe it, like an X-ray scan, but I could feel it. And I felt him like a psychic vampire or something. He walks right up to me, and he says, "I'm here to meet Lori." And I said, "I'm Lori." He said, "I'm here. I've been sent here at this time to wake you up." Now, I don't know what that is other than the fact that he was sent here to wake me up, and I woke up. I left my body, things happened, and it's never been the same since. The past 17 years I've checked out of what is the concept of the material society of Western civilization. And then as I've been given more interest, see, my journey is kind of like not to read a lot of stuff about all this, to experience it. And I don't really know, messages come through people that walk right up to me, "Hey, I've got a message for you." And I said, "Okay," and they channel a message for me, and then I go about my business, and I go, "That's pretty interesting." I think my life is kind of like a very interesting movie to live it like that. And I told the Pleiadians and said, "Look, my mother's on the council, and she left when the portal opened on the 27th. And I got a message from New Zealand that it's time for me to come forward. And I'm just getting information one step at a time, and the most revelatory information I have is about these soul overgroups. And I really want to pursue a paper on this because I think if people, and being neutral is very difficult. I can say that with my own family and what's happened here because there's pain. When there's pain involved with definition of self, it's very easy to go to anger and hate, which is why I'm releasing my mother today, her body cremation. I'm not playing this legal system game. Everybody can go ahead and knock yourself out. You know, so I need to focus on the things that are important and hopefully be able to send a message that if we can at least tolerate one another and that everybody has an opinion and try not to attack other people because your ideologies aren't the same as theirs. I mean, the New World Order, as much as they want to try to control, they know that they can't to a certain degree. I mean, it's getting out of hand for them. People are waking up. They don't know what they're waking up to, but they're waking up. Because that is the consciousness of the Earth. As we come forward and give more enlightened information, and we come from a point that we're all connected, then we can wake up together. It's sort of, how could I say, it's like how the television programs people. Thought is also energy. And if we can send signals in thought, people can pick up on that.
Well, I've told my audience over the last 20 years, they don't call it programming for nothing. They don't call television programming for nothing.
Right.
And that is the greatest, to me, that is the beast. That is the greatest mind control, the one-eyed beast that it controls your thoughts. It controls what you think. They, you know, it's the TV, it's the media that tried to portray the militias as the bad guys when we were really the good guys. And more and more people, like Dr. Edwin Vieira, like DV Kid, are starting to come forward and say, yeah, Clay was right 20 years ago. You know, we shouldn't have bought into the, the militia blew up Oklahoma City. Bullshit. It was the same people that killed the Branch Davidians and the same people that are delivering guns to the Mexican drug dealers who are working for the CIA so they can use them to kill your Border Patrol agents and your sheriffs here.
Yeah, I do agree that the sheriffs need to get active here. I like that idea. I do want to say I think that Ron Paul doesn't have a chance of winning at all.
Well, they don't. The reason he doesn't have any chance of winning is for the same reason that Charles Collins couldn't win. Charles Collins wanted to audit the Fed. Ron Paul wants to audit the Fed. Ron Paul, they want to do that. And
look at Justice Ventura. I mean, they said that they changed the venue in his case and said that, you know, I mean, totally kicked out on the Bill of Rights and Constitution. He's so angry and he can do what he wants. I mean, it's been over for a long time. This whole, illusion of rights. We have 10 planks to the Communist Manifesto in this country, and when people just realize, it is what it is, and just stay neutral and stay in who you are, right? Do your best to don't get wound up unless that platform resonates with you as an Oversoul group. You don't have to get wound up. You can be at your peace in the center of a hurricane. Because in a hurricane, the center is the eye, even though chaos is around you. It's very difficult to do, but achievable with enough practice. I can say my test this week was very difficult. And the only way for me to not judge my brother because he's coming from his own place is to let my mother go and give her respect, and even letting her artwork go, even though I wanted to do a foundation for her, but the fight's not worth it. There's other things to do, and it's the ability to walk away, not sue over the pacemaker. Just let it all go. I don't want a part of that, what you say, Clay, the beast system. They want to try to tangle you up in their web of greed, and people like to try to trigger another person, and I've come up with a really good line I like. When somebody gets in my face and starts, sharing or telling me, I don't like it. I'm going to tell you something. No, you can share with me, but telling me and forcing me, and that you will not do. And if they go about whatever they have to say, I say, you could be right, and I walk away, because it also means it could be wrong. Being a diplomat and negotiator is all about keeping your peace. And that's, boy, I'll say the situation this week's been difficult for me, but it just does, with this show today, put more in perspective how the hostility on the planet with these soul over fighting each other because everybody's right.
It's Lori, and you maybe you can tell me this. Maybe you can tell me this. Sometimes when I got out of the hospital, my sons were like angry at me. Fuck you, Dad. We're putting you in an old folks home. We're taking over.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife just walked away from me, and I don't. They said I drove them away. So I at this point in time, the other day I walked into a biker bar I hadn't been in for 3 months. I had just put up the flyers on the website about the event in Cochise County, and the bartender, who I'd never met, said, "Is your name Clay? Are you Clay?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, well, you're 86 from here. You're barred permanently." Now, where does that come from? I mean, I haven't been in a fight with anybody. Am I just such a angry, overbearing person
No,
that?
No, stop. Clay, listen. No, you're not. You are self-aware. You are not asleep. All right. Now I'm going to explain something to you. You have a certain energy, a field of energy around you, an aura, if you will. I try to stay off of too much metaphysical talk, but in this case I have to say that. When a person feels another person's energy and they don't understand it, they automatically go to fear. They don't know why they go to fear, but it's the initial reaction. I mean, if you think people like me, no, not at all. It's either two ways with me. People love me or hate me. There's no neutral with me. Either absolutely like Lori or absolutely just dislike me. That's fine, because what other people think about me is none of my business. They have the right to be there, but I'm not going to get offended because then I can't stay neutral.
Well, is it because I've always been on the radio? I've always been on, I walk into a bar in Socorro, New Mexico, and some guy goes, "Are you Clay Douglas?" "Yes." "Oh, I recognize you because you put your picture in your magazine." "Yeah. "Why do you do that?" I said, "Why wouldn't I do that? It's my magazine." "Oh, but there's people out there don't like what you got to say." "Oh, you mean there's somebody might want to beat me up, might want to hurt me, might want to shoot me because they don't like what I got to say?" "Well, yes. And I said, "Well, here I am, bud." "Oh, no, not me, no. But I said, "Well, now you know why I do that, why I put my name, and why I put my picture there. Why I do the show. I'm up on YouTube. We're up on YouTube. We're broadcasting all over. And I tell people, don't believe anything I tell you. Check it out for yourself. I'm here to gain knowledge. I'm here to know. I don't want to run the world. I don't want to dominate nobody. I don't want anybody to I'm not trying to convert anybody to my lifestyle. What I'm doing is telling you folks that you do have a choice. You can build your own Liberty Village in your own neighborhood, with your own friends, with your own family. You can be independent. You can grow your own food. You can generate your own industry. And you can do that. I'm on Clayton Douglas on YouTube. It's all the links are up on my site. You guys can check it out. I've got a lot of videos up there, about 700. You may have
I love Clay's passion. I love Clay's passion. You know, I wish that others could have their own substances themselves, and they could be who they are and be passionate about who they are. And if that's what I could say, is be yourself. Be who you are. And, you know, don't let the cookie cutter factory try to tell you what to wear and how to look and how to be. Because you have to respect for who you are. And if people don't like it and you want to fit in, then you might be coming back a few times.
Well, this is according to Dan Fry of Dallas, Texas. This is my last incarnation, and Dan did my horoscope when I was about 22 years old, or 23. And he told me this is your last involuntary incarnation. You can come back if you want, but you don't have to come back here. You've learned you've been through your lessons. You've learned your lessons. I hope so. But we're not done here, folks. We're going to change this around. We're going to turn this back into a republic where the rights of the individual are a hell of a lot more important than your whole democracy concept of two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. And Lori, you know, I certainly hope you were here and you left, and I thought I scared you off. I still don't know, you know, why things exactly worked out the way they did. I know you've got other issues here, and you're still dealing with those issues, but I enjoy what you have to say, and I think one of the things that we really need is to be working together on all levels, and again, this is my pantheistic view. You know, we're all a part of the energy. You'll see Michael Monk, he'll just demonstrate that to you. We're part of the energy. We can manipulate it. If you think positive, you're going to attract the positive and less of the negative. And Lori, thank you for being with me.
Thank you for a wonderful, refreshing, delightful time with your beautiful personality.
Quit yelling, Clay! Quit yelling! Quit yelling!
Because you have one, Clay.
What's that?
You have a personality. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the only guy I know that rides a Harley with two black and white Harley riding Chihuahuas, wearing a cowboy hat. All right, God bless you. We're out of here.
Okay. Ciao.
Call recording has been completed.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If someone called this morning from this number, I was calling back.
Yeah, I had you down as Lori Holton. I will fix that, and I won't bother you again.
Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Did I get this one stopped?